Hi everybody! Happy Wednesday, middle of the week. It's time for a little bit of crafting. I think that's what's needed. I don't know how your week's going. Mine is incredibly busy. For many people, it's their first week back at work. Some of us have been working right the way through. Give me a shout in the comments if you were one of the ones who was working right the way through Christmas. And likewise, comment if you had a lovely long break and you're just coming back to work feeling fully refreshed to be met by those of us who are somewhat weary. But anyway, I'm going to put work to one side and just going to enjoy crafting with you guys tonight. I am looking forward to this. We're going to be using some stuff out the new Spring Summer catalogue. Celebration has started, don't forget, but it's Spring Summer stuff that I'm going to be using today, although I am going to be using one of the stamp sets from the Celebration set. So let me jump straight to the good stuff. Before we started, I just wanted to show you, oh, let's get the lights on, make sure we've got proper lights because it's still really dark and dreary out there. There we go. I think the lights help, although you do get a bit of reflection. Hopefully you prefer it with the lights. I think you can see a lot better. But you'll remember these were the cards that we made last week using the Celebration embossing folder and stamp set and using papers from Spring Summer. Hey Shona, glad you're here. What I thought you might like to see is the different coloured versions. So we had done Moody Mauve and Boho Blue, but from that same set of papers, you've also got the Wild Wheat and the Lost Lagoon. So when we did these ones, it was the papers were Moody Mauve and the other side was Boho Blue. And then on another set of papers, you've got this Lost Lagoon on one side and the Wild Wheat on the other. So I've now got them in 4 colours and I actually think they've worked really well. I like them. That could be, you could give that as a little set of notelets if you wanted to give a gift to somebody, give a little set of cards, all pretty colours. But anyway, those are the cards that are going out with my customer thank yous this month, along with the free tutorial, and I will post the link. So if you want the free tutorial with all the measurements, then just let me know. Right, what we're using today, I am breaking out the hot air balloon papers, stamp sets, dies, the matching embellishments. So we've got these beautiful rainbow dots, we've got this rainbow twine, and I've got a card idea in my head. So at first I was thinking I'm going to do this really simple card front. And then I was thinking, oh, but it could have something interesting inside. I have to say I was partially inspired by the lovely Heather, who did a card that she shared that was based on something that we'd done last week. So I thought I'm going to return the favour. I'm going to create one of my own. So I'm starting off with the papers. My card's not going to be the same one that Heather did, by the way, although it is going to have like a fancy fold element inside, although a different and somewhat easier one. But I'm going to start off with these colours. So I should perhaps have pulled these out beforehand. So hopefully you'll forgive me. But let's go. Azure Afternoon. Trusty Balmy Blue. Bubble Bath. They're beautiful colours, these pastel ones. Flirty Flamingo. Fresh Freesia. Which are your favourite colours? Do you like the subtles, the regals, the brights? Let me know in the comments which ones you like. Lemon Lolly. That paler yellow, which I don't use very often, and I should, it's very pretty. Petal Pink. Petal Pink, which I've always seen as more peachy than pink, and you definitely see the peachiness there. And then Pool Party. Excellent. Right, let's bring these colours out. So I might put Pool, because Pool Party seems almost green when compared to the blues. I don't know if you can see that well. It does look very, to me it looks a bit greeny. Hey Debbie, watching on silent. I should really get subtitles or something up. I don't know if subtitles come up automatically for you guys when you watch without the sound. I dread to think what I'm like on subtitles. My goodness. Right, so these are the colours of cardstock that we're going for. And so now the next thing to do is to choose the papers. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to choose this particular pattern, I love all of these papers, and there are some really, really gorgeous ones in there. But do I want that? Yes, I do. I do. So if I'm going to have this, oh, and I need my Whisper White as well. I have on the top here. But my card blank, that's just a piece of Whisper White. My card blank, I'm going to do a coloured card blank this time. So the moment I'm thinking, balmy blue and flirty flamingo. Maybe not. Tell you what, balmy blue and fresh freesia. This is going to work. Right, I'm going to cut the layers using these colours. And then if you think it should be different colours, you can let me know. But this is what we're going to start with. And let's start with, yeah, I'm going to start with the fresh freesia card. No, honestly, I should decide these things before we get in. Hey, Ali, you've reached me just while I'm at the dithering stage. Actually, dithering is a very Scottish word. I should be careful for my non-Scottish audience. It just means that I'm trying to decide what it is I should be doing. What colours? I know the card's in my head. What I've done is I've scored at 14.8 and I've cut at 10.5 to create a standard C6 card blank. Let's just get my bone folder. Oh, there's one out already. And just score that across the way. I want a top opening card blank for this. Then I'm going to get, let's get my fresh freesia. And I'm going to cut a piece that is 7 centimetres. Make sure I'm getting this right. Yes, 7 centimetres by 10 centimetres. I want a white layer that is 14.3 by 10 centimetres. And just so you can see what these are going to look like. So I've got my balmy blue, my white layer is going to nearly cover the entire thing. This fresh freesia layer is going to fit on the top. Very similar sizes to the ones we used last week, but don't worry, we're going to mix things up in a minute. Then I don't want to use that bit. That bit of balmy blue as a scrap. I'm trying to use more of my scraps this year instead of just jumping straight to this. So this strip, I want it to be 3 centimetres. By 10 centimetres. So it's going to be the same width as my basic white layer. There we go. So that's going to go across there. Next, I'm going to take my beautiful piece here. I love, 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 love. This is going to be 6.5 by 9.5. There we go. That actually fits quite nice. That suits quite nicely just with the element there. And then that's going in the center of that. And that's going on there. And then this is going to go over the top, but it might go over the top further down. Oh, haven't completely ruled that one out. Let's see. I want this to be 2.5. By 10. Okay, and then this will fit on here. Now, I don't know if you can see, sometimes when you use your trimmer, you get a little bit where you can see that I've trimmed that from the other side. All I'm going to do is run my bone folder across it just to make it flat. It's a tiny little thing, but in my head makes it look nicer. So I'm going to stick that over there and start gluing some of these down. So start with the base and work your way up. There you go. Basic white covering almost the entire top. Using Tombow, so it's very forgiving. I can move it around as much as I need to. Then this goes onto my fresh freesia layer. Again, very forgiving. I can slide it if I didn't have it perfectly centered. And then this is going to stick onto the center. Like so. And then this piece, I mean, that in itself is quite pretty. I have a real love of hot air balloons. When we lived in Bristol, a lot of the factories that make hot air balloons are based in or near Bristol. And they have something called the Balloon Fiesta once a year, where you've never seen so many hot air balloons in your life. It's absolutely beautiful and it's absolutely magical. So, right. I'm going to stick that. I'm just going to stick it down completely flat. And this is going to sound funny, but it will make sense in a second. It's kind of covering up the basket because I think the baskets here are really cute. But I'm going to fix that when it gets to my element stage, because I'm going to put an element on here. Let's get stamping. So I'm going to stamp one. Stamped one might be too big. I might just cut one out of the paper. Here's my piece of paper. Actually, cutting the blue one out would be really pretty. So that cuts that out. And then looking to see which one is which. I think it's this one here, which is that little balloon there. Yeah, right. Let's get out my cut and emboss. Although actually that heart would be quite pretty as well. What do you think? The blue one? The blue would be nice because I've got the blue background. Or the peachy one. Do you know what? I might cut both. Let's cut both and then we can decide which one's going to look prettiest. You let me know in the comments which ones you think are nice. Of course, Ali, you're Bristol based as well. You can tell them that I'm telling the truth. It's beautiful balloons. It is, apart from the people and swoon ice cream, one of the things I miss most about Bristol is the Balloon Fiesta, which is just magical. It is. Right, let's start putting these on. So you can use your dies and stick them down with washi tape to make sure that they stay in the right place, which is probably a good idea and probably something I should be doing, but I'm being quite lazy here. Got a lot I want to get through tonight, so trying to be time efficient. Or haste less speed, is that what they say? Let's do that, hope for the best. Hi Al, hi Julie, hi. So Shona, you're voting for the blue at the moment. I think the blue might end up being the nicest one. Let's cut them both out and see what we think. Before I'm finished with cut and emboss though, I'm just going to get a couple of scraps of fresh freesia. Let's run these through. Do one there. Now what would be sensible would have been to use the adhesive sheets. Why do I always forget these at the time? Let's pick that one. I'm going to do a second one as well. Down to one side just for just that. Right, because then this can stick back on over the top. I think adding that back in just gives it an extra something. Can't be daft. And many people do. Oh, I should give a hello to everybody watching on YouTube. Hello all the YouTubers, and hello to everybody who's watching on Catch Up, because I know not everybody is available on a Wednesday at 7:30, but thank you for watching at whatever time you chose to watch. Right, let's see. So we've got the blue one, which again, I'd have the little basket underneath. So that's what the blue would be. Or we've got the petal pink. Yeah, I think the blue one is best. I'm going to go with your recommendation, Shona. Never one to argue with a good idea. Yeah, another vote for the balmy blue one. I think it's the right choice, ladies and gents. I occasionally get the odd gentleman watching, including one of my other very good friends from Bristol, Mark. He sometimes watches. If you're watching, Mark, hello. Although I have another gent from Glasgow who sometimes watches, my friend Colin. So Colin, if you're watching, hello. Right. There we go. So that's the balloons. One that's just the paper, one that's been die cut and stuck over the top. And then I wasn't sure if I was going to add the sentiment, but I think I am. So just a note to lift you up. This is the one I want to do. One that I want. You are the one I want. Ooh, 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 honey. I'm just going to make sure that's straight. This is another really good use for my glass mat. Making sure that my sentiment is the way I want it to be. There we go. What do we think? Fresh freesia? I think fresh freesia is probably the best colour to go for. Or balmy blue. What colour ink do we think? Balmy blue or fresh freesia? Might do both just on a scrap. And let me see. Let me know which you think is nicest. Just a note to lift you up. So that's it in the balmy blue. Try it in the fresh freesia. Fresh freesia says showing up. Could be right, because we've got the freesia there, but we don't really have it anywhere else. So that would be it in the fresh freesia. Let's do it in the fresh freesia. I'm going to go with Shona's excellent recommendation. There we go. That was close. Did you see I nearly put that card down on top of an open ink pad? That would not have ended well. And then finishing touch for the front of this card, it's just going to be a couple of these beautiful rainbow dots. Oops. So oh, no, you see that's colour these dots in. See, that's more. There we go. I think we're going to have one of these here. Right. What do you think? That's the front of our card. Fairly quick and simple. You've got the sentiment along the bottom, just a note to lift you up. You've got a couple of the little rainbow dots just added to give some highlight. And then that's the designer series paper where I took the panel out of this, turned it over to do the strip along there, and then cut out one of the balloons just to stick over the top. That's actually not that complicated a card. What's that taken us? 20 minutes? Not even, and most of that was just doing the cutting. Quite like that. What I want to do though then is I'm going to do something I'm going to try and do something interesting inside. This is the plan at least. I'm just going to refer to my notes. I do make notes, you know. I do have plans on how things will look. Whether they always end up the way that they're meant to is another matter. But right, I'm going to take the other half of my pool party card blank. It's already got a crease in the middle, which is fine because that's what I want it to have. And I'm going to trim this so it's 10.5 at the moment. I'm going to take it to 5.25 centimeters. So I'm basically cutting that in half. Okay. Doesn't matter if it's not completely right. You know, you could have one of them at 5.2 and the other one at 5.3. It would be perfectly fine. And I'm going to fold that in half. Then I'm going to fold this. Oh, actually, I should score it first, shouldn't I? Let's do the scores first. So that's 14.8. So I want to do this to 7.4 and score. And then the same across the other side, 7.4 and score. And then what this should do is fold in to the center. And that one fold in as well. So I've got something that looks like this. So now my plan is that when this opens up, it's got this piece in the middle that opens like so. The easiest way to do this, okay, I'm going to take my Tombow, put the whole thing folded up. This flat end, so you've got like your W, this bit is the bit that needs to go in the center at the bottom. Oh, actually I want to do a white layer in there first before I do it, just to make things stand out. This is going to be interesting. Right, that's already 14.3, so I just need to cut it to 10. There we go. So another white layer, same size as the one in the front. 14.3 by 10. Stick that down. Like so. Then this piece, so this first part of my, or last part of my W, depending on which way you're looking at it, is going to stick down to the center at the bottom. Don't stress over it not being perfectly centered. Tombow is very forgiving. The important bit is that it is flat and aligned with that piece there. And then let's press that down nice and firmly. And then fold the whole thing up. Put more Tombow on the other side. And then fold your card flap over and press down. And what you should get, you should be able to open it up. It should actually fold flat that way as well, but that's not what it's going to look like when it's finished. Just fold that down. And so now you've got this card which opens here and then opens up with these bits in the center. It's quite nice. Okay, right. Back to our fresh freesia, because now what we want to do, so that's 7, so we want squares that are 5 by 5. Are we doing it 5 by 5? No, we don't. Where's my ruler gone? That's 7. Maybe I want it to be 6. Yeah, do you know what? 6 by 6. Let's do squares that are 6 by 6. When in doubt, it's usually best to cut them too large because then you can always trim them if you need to. Let's just do one of them and see if it's nicely on there, on there. 6, you know, you could do 6.5, make them even slightly larger. Let's try 6.5. That's already 6.5. That's not 7. Let's try a 6.5 and see if that looks nicest. Because I want it to be nice and bold. I want the fresh freesia to really pop here. Yeah, do you know what? 6.5. 6.5 it shall be. And you're going to cut 4 of them. Okay. Then going back to my gorgeous papers. Now, that won't be big enough. It would? Yep. Will it be big enough in both directions? That's the question. No, it will not. That's all right. I'm going to pick different papers anyway. Let's do, one of them's going to be that. One of them is going to be that. Oh, I've got to use that. There we go. But then the third one is going to be basic white. So these ones are going to be 6 by 6. Because these are going to fit on top of our fresh freesia layers like that. So let's do one of these. Now I have done all the backing squares in fresh freesia, but you could alternate them and have different colours. There are no right or wrong ways to do this. Just do whatever looks right and whatever you think is going to go with the project or the papers you're using. This is almost like a cheats version of a pop-up card. The lovely Heather showed a beautiful pop-up card, but this is a cheats version. And if I say so myself, it's a little simpler. Right, so just a note to lift you up. So I think inside I'm going to say hang in there. Or wish big? Hang in there, I think makes more sense, doesn't it? And then do we want to have hang in there? See, I was thinking I was just going to stamp in the middle. And then, see, this is the bit that I got confused at. The dies have got these lovely little dies here that look like flags. And I thought there was a stamp to go with it. And I was going to stamp some flags. But I could actually just die cut the flags. They could be pretty. Actually, I could die cut that piece as well. Die cut the banner. Let's start with my sentiment in the center. My square. Then let's do it in a couple of different colours as well, just to mix it up. Do it in the blue as well. The beauty of this is if I don't like it for any reason, I can just turn it over, use the other side. Let's get my fresh freesia. Not fresh freesia, I've already got fresh freesia, Flirty Flamingo. And what's the one they use there? Pool Party. Although I think I'm going to go rogue. I'm not going to use Pool Party, I'm going to use Lost Lagoon. Emma, you're such a rebel. Trust me, I think it's going to work. Of course it will work, Emma. Why wouldn't it work? Pool Party and Lost Lagoon are two shades that are very similar in tone, it's just one's slightly darker than the other. I think that's what we need for this sentiment. I did think about doing Lemon Lolly, but as a shade to ink with, just on its own for a sentiment, I think the yellow would be too pale. It would be lost. So the beauty of the photopolymer stamps as well is that you can see through them, so you can see exactly where you're stamping. Photopolymer, however, should not be confused with acrylic. Some of the clear acrylic stamps do not stamp nearly as nicely as photopolymer, and you can sometimes struggle to get a nice image. If you're struggling with your stamps, the first thing to check is, do you have a good quality stamp? The second thing to check is your surface. You want to be stamping on a firm, level surface. Right, what do you think? Hang in there. Lots of different colours. Your battery's dying, Debbie. I feel you. I'll be going to bed soon as well. Well, that's all right, actually. Let's stick this down to my fresh freesia. Let's stick these down as well. Actually thinking that what do you think? Stick the stripy heart into the centre of there, or stick the petal pink? I actually think the stripy heart in the centre, or the stripy heart in the centre of that one might look nice. So in terms of gluing these together, I know that I want that one on there. Do I want that one on there? Yes, I do. So now, haha, that was close. See when you're sticking this down? So the very bottom one can stick the whole way, but the other ones are just sticking to your center strip. So be careful with that. I'm going to stick this down entirely, but remember that the top one and the bottom one are the only ones that you'll be able to do this with. Okay, so let's stick that down. Okay, then this order, I think that looks nice. Yellow should go next. Now yellow up at the top, it's almost like the sun. So let's do the yellow all over for that one as well. And it goes again in the center of the strip. Let's stick that heart onto, I think in this direction, the prettiest. glue off the edge there. So use my glue be gone, anti-glue. Right, now this is going to stick down here. Now I don't want to stick the whole thing down because of course this bit comes up. So I need to make sure that I only put glue down the centre. In fact, you know what? Let's just put the glue on the strip, making sure that I'm leaving enough at the top and the bottom. And I can use the other ones that I've done to guide me on that. And then let's do it like that. Don't be afraid to push the whole thing flat while you get the glue and press it in place and stick it in place. Then remember that the goal is that it should come up like that. Right, let's do the next one, the last one. It's gorgeous paper. It's just really bright and cheery. Pastel colours make me think of summer and ice cream. It's a fun sweet, it really is. And there we go. So this closes over like that. And there's our card. So the front of it, nice and simple, just the panel of DSP, the strip across the front. Got glue everywhere, Emma. Come on. And then the cutout shape from the paper. And then when you open it up, you've got these four panels inside with the papers and my sentiment along the bottom hanging there. Hopefully that's something that isn't too daunting. You'll be able to give that one a try. It stands up quite nicely as well. Of course, not on my glass mat because it's quite slippy. It should step up. If it's not standing up, I do it on a surface that's not slidey. Yeah, so let's put down a piece of card. It does stand up, I promise you. There you go. When you try and do it on a surface that's not slippy, it does stand up. Did a second ago. Okay, maybe it's one to prop up on a mantelpiece, but I think part of my issue here is that I think that's slightly lower than the base, so that when I'm trying to open it up, it's rocking a little bit on there. So I maybe need to do that inner bit slightly higher. Learn from my mistakes, guys. That's why I show you, so that you can learn. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed that card tonight. Let me flick back to me. Turn off these scary lights. Plunges into darkness and boom, there we go. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's card. If you are inspired to craft with it, then please do share. I do love to see your creations. Remember my my paper share is running this month and next month. And so if you would like to get your hands on all of the papers in the catalogue, but pay a fraction of the price to get a sample, so you basically get a quarter pack of each paper, then that's the way to do it. I'll put the link on my Facebook page to see if anybody is interested, and you can have all of the papers from the Spring Summer catalogue, and if you choose you can then bolt on all of the papers from Celebration, so that's an added extra that you can choose if you wish. As always, if there's any questions you have, or if you want to get your hands on any of the goodies, then please do just get in touch, and apart from that, have a fabulous week. I'll see you next Wednesday. Take care. Bye.